Reducing mushroom poisonings requires systematic, multi-level interventions that go far beyond telling people, be careful. We need comprehensive prevention strategies addressing education, professional training, regulatory frameworks, and cultural shifts. Some regions have achieved this successfully, providing models for broader implementation. Successful approaches exist in parts of Europe where mushroom poisoning rates are significantly lower than in regions with similar foraging culture intensity. What makes the difference? Mandatory education systems, professional certification for commercial foragers, accessible expert identification services, and public health infrastructure supporting safe foraging. School-based education provides foundational safety knowledge. Elementary curricula in high foraging regions include basic mushroom safety, never eat wild mushrooms without expert confirmation, specific local toxic species to recognize and avoid, and what to do if someone consumes unknown mushrooms. Children learn these rules alongside other safety fundamentals like crossing streets safely and stranger danger. Public health campaigns during peak mushroom seasons, spring and fall when rains trigger mushroom fruiting, saturate local media with safety messaging. Public service announcements, posters in parks and natural areas, and social media campaigns remind people that mushrooms are fruiting and expert identification is available. Accessible mycological expertise through university extension programs and regional mushroom societies provides free or low-cost identification services. During mushroom season, experts hold weekend identification clinics where people bring specimens for professional evaluation. This accessibility removes barriers to seeking expert help. Regulation of commercial foraging varies widely. Best practice jurisdictions require certification for anyone selling wild mushrooms. Certification involves extensive training, examination demonstrating identification competence, and ongoing recertification. Commercial foragers must maintain documentation of harvests, creating traceability if poisonings occur. Restaurant regulations in rigorous jurisdictions require verification documentation for wild mushroom purchases. Restaurants must know their supplier, maintain records of species sold, and have protocols for responding to suspected poisoning incidents. Liability clearly rests with restaurants for verification, creating strong incentives for thorough vetting. Barriers to implementation include funding limitations. Comprehensive education and free identification services require sustained public health investment. Resistance from traditional foragers who oppose restrictions and view regulation as government overreach complicates policy adoption. Cultural competency challenges arise when health authorities from one background try to change practices in communities with different traditions. Reaching at-risk populations requires targeted approaches. Recent immigrants need resources in their native languages explaining that familiar-looking mushrooms in their new region might be deadly lookalikes. Rural poor communities where foraging supplements food budgets need accessible alternatives, not just prohibition. Social media-influenced youth need digital literacy education about foraging content. Policy recommendations include mandatory species testing for all commercially sold wild mushrooms, using chemical analysis or DNA barcoding to verify identification. Free public mushroom identification services during fruiting season, funded as public health initiatives like vaccination clinics. Cultural competency training for physicians in communities where foraging is common, ensuring medical professionals recognize poisoning symptoms and understand cultural contexts. Poison Control Center enhancement with dedicated mycology specialists provides 24/7 access to expert consultation for suspected poisonings. Current poison control centers provide general toxicology support, but few have specialized mushroom expertise immediately available. Cost-benefit analysis strongly favors prevention investment. The expenses of public education, free identification services, and professional training programs are orders of magnitude cheaper than the medical costs of treating mushroom poisonings, ICU care, liver transplants, and ongoing post-transplant care. A single liver transplant costs approximately $500,000. For that same amount, you could fund comprehensive regional mushroom safety programs reaching hundreds of thousands of people, preventing dozens of poisonings. Beyond direct medical costs, preventing deaths and severe illnesses avoids the broader economic impacts: lost productivity from deceased or disabled workers, family financial devastation, mental health treatment for traumatized survivors, and disability support for transplant recipients unable to return to full employment. Building mycological safety culture means normalizing expert confirmation as standard practice, not excessive caution. In safety-conscious cultures, people routinely submit specimens for identification before consumption without feeling they're being overly careful. This normalization requires shifting social expectations around foraging. The goal isn't eliminating foraging, it's making it safe through expertise, infrastructure, and education. People can still enjoy wild mushrooms, maintain cultural traditions, and connect with nature through foraging. But these activities must incorporate rigorous safety practices, expert identification, proper recognition of lookalike dangers, and humility about knowledge limitations. Successful safety culture change happens gradually through sustained effort across multiple sectors. Schools teach children foundational safety. Public health agencies provide accessible services. Regulators establish and enforce appropriate standards. Medical systems prepare for effective poisoning response. Communities integrate safety awareness into traditional practices. The endpoint is a society where mushroom poisoning deaths become rare because multiple protective layers prevent the progression from foraging interest to fatal consumption. No single intervention achieves this. Success requires comprehensive, sustained, multi-level approaches building genuine safety culture.